Everybody, and welcome to your daily brew, part 4. This is the 4th day. Trying to keep this up. Boy, do I have a brew for you today. Just look at this thing. I don't even really have a name for it. I'm guessing Rising Collis or Rise to the Collis or something. It's probably Jonestown. I don't know. We're sacrificing a lot of people, so let's call it Kool-Aid. What this deck is basically the idea to take the power in the Collis deck, Stone Scar Collis, usually just a 2-color deck that takes advantage of Bloodrite Collis, one of the strongest synergy weapons in the game, together with Smuggler Stash, and with the way graveyard effects work in this game, where every card retains stat upgrades. Just stashing a Collis and then making it bigger and bigger is extremely powered. It's one of the most powerful late games in the game, while also being able to, first of all, it lets you play early game cards. You can a lot of the time just take a fairly aggressive line, while also it gives you a lot of blockers. It has a good early game and a good late game. The problem with Collis decks, however, the normal ones, is that they're fairly inconsistent in what they do. If you don't draw the right cards, the deck kind of just stalls out and doesn't really do anything. And there are ways to fix that. You can splash blue, you can play Devour, kind of try to get as much card draw in there as possible. But what I wanted to try, what you're usually missing is your Collis, right? That's the thing you're missing the biggest amount of the time. So what I wanted to try is to pair it with Rise to the Challenge, which lets you search for Collis, meaning you have essentially 8 in your deck. Then you can also play 1 Oblivion Spike as like a different version of Collis. I hate this card in a normal deck. I think it's terrible. But here, as a one-off search target, it feels a lot better. You also get to play Ikaria as like kind of an alternate win plan. We get to play Harsh Rule, which I think is pretty good in this deck, because since you don't care about your individual threats, but you can still deploy threats fairly effectively. Like the cards like Assembly Line and Grenadine Drone are fairly like efficient for their mana cost, meaning it's easy to just deploy them in a fast way after you Harsh, so you can like kind of stabilize even more. And then there's kind of a small Rise package in the main deck, essentially 1 Auric Runehammer and 1 Enforcer right now. And then we're playing 1. So from the start, 4 Grenadine Drone. To play Collis, we need like a critical mass of creatures. I'm not playing the O2 whatever it's called in this deck, because I don't think the mana supports it. But we want 4 Grenadine Drone, 4 Assembly Line, and 4 Dark Wisp. You can cast this fairly consistently. If there was another card that lets you kind of put 2 creatures into play for the cost of 1 card in these colors, I would love to play it. I haven't found one. Maybe I'm missing something. Let me know. But because one of the weaknesses of this list, when I've tried it, is that there are slightly too few creatures in it. Only slightly, but there are slightly too few. 4 Seek Power, mana, obviously. Torch lets you interact in the early game together with Vanquish and Rule. They are main removal spells, but then we also have the weapons function as removal for the late game. So you're kind of casting these while you're trying to get your weapons online, and then after that you can just kind of weapon yourself through the rest of the creatures. 4 Quarry, just good search card, lets us find Smuggler Stash, lets us find Collis, lets us find Spiders, Rise, a lot of stuff. Dark Wisp is also like part of the creature package. Not much to say about that. I think it's very good with stash in this kind of armory build, because a lot of the time what you're gonna do is you're gonna stash like 1 weapon and then 2 wisps, and it's like drawing 2 cards plus the weapons. 4 Assembly Line, also part of the creature package. Good thing about this card is that it's very good at eating damage from like Sandstorm Titans and stuff like that. You can shun block 3 times. There's a lot. It can be 15 life in the right situation, while also it contributes fairly well to like a long game plan, more than you'd think. Bloodrite, source of, it's what the deck does. Obviously, playing 4, you always want to draw 1, and drawing 2 isn't the worst either. Then we have 1 privilege to rank, because I wanted the 5th Seek power, essentially. But it's also fairly good with Quarry. Sometimes you just hit this stuff, you hit another card of Quarry, you get to discard this, and it's good value. And it's kind of free to play 1. If you play 2 or more, you kind of have to play more Justice Sigils and jump through a bit of hoops. But this list can kind of afford, this was supposed to be like this, can kind of afford playing only 4 or whatever, because we're only playing 1, and in the late game where that's actually a consideration, it doesn't matter. Free Torrent of Spiders, not great always in this deck, but it's always at least a 1 when Death Touch. And in the late game, it can be a really good combination with certain other cards like Callus and stuff. Also kind of free. 1 Valkyrie Enforcer as a rise target against Stone Maiden and sometimes the free 5, but mostly Maiden. We just have a hard time dealing with that card. Without the Enforcers, I like having 1 kind of catch-all science card to rise for. Or Goonhammer is a really good rise target. Get it a lot of the time. 4 rise, I could see going down to 3, but I like playing 4. I think if you're gonna do this kind of thing, usually playing 4 is correct. If I'd cut 1, it would probably be for Ikaria number 2. Because sometimes you kind of draw or get the first one and you feel like, oh yeah, I really want to get a second Ikaria. So maybe, or maybe the Ari Goonhammer, a second one. For Harsh Rule, not much to say about that card, more than what I've already said. 1 Oblivion Spike, for when you want to, like, you're not really in a situation where you can search for Callus or Ikaria, because they have a Sandstorm or something, but you still want to get something good. Oblivion Spike is a good target. 4 Smuggler's Dash, I think with 4 Callus, you really want to run all 4. The combination is like what the deck works on. Then 1 Ikaria, and the rest is just mana. I'm not entirely sure whether this is the correct way to build a mana base, but I kind of like it like this. We have a lot of units in play, so these come into play untapped fairly consistently. And I just think this kind of works out to where I want to be. So that's the deck list. Let's go to game 1.